Madam Speaker, on 26th of June, I had written to your office requesting us to do the same, to have a motion to discuss what we are discussing today. I'm happy, though I did not get a reply, I'm happy it has come through the channels that it has come, for us to discuss this issue. Madam Speaker, this is the time for the people of Kenya to know that Senate is the upper house. It is what was meant to be by the drafters of the Constitution, Madam Speaker, because they wanted this house to be more an appeal chamber, to be a house that will bring appeal mechanism where Kenyans who are not happy with what is happening with the executive, with the other assemblies or with the National Assembly will always have a channel to come and weigh in and give their contribution, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if the finance bill was to come to the Senate, what happened to this country could not have happened. Those maandamano that were here could not have happened, Madam Speaker, because here at the Senate, we relook into things afresh. We scrutinize again. We look at the proposals afresh by hearing and listening to the people. I can give a very good example, Madam Speaker. There was the affordable bill that was brought here, passed by over 400 MPs, Madam Speaker. But when it came to this House, we relooked into it. We gave it 49 amendments. New things that were not there, Madam Speaker. What we are trying to say, Madam Speaker, is that if the finance bill was to come, and we should fight for that space, so that anything that is passed by the National Assembly should always be coming to this House, so that we can discuss it again and again. And this country could not have been banned if it came to this House, Madam Speaker. On the issue of Gen Z, and I take this time to condole with all those who lost their children, to those mothers and fathers who lost their children. And that's why we are here. We are discussing that everything, every stone must be turned. Whoever acted contrary to the law must face the law, Madam Speaker. And it's also good, because I said, I don't want to be part of, sensational comments. I want to be level-headed, Madam Speaker. I want to talk without exaggeration. I want to talk from a point of fact. And that's why I want to tell people what Gen Z means. Many people don't even know. I saw an old man, a politician, former politician, saying, when I was Gen Z. You have never been Gen Z, Madam Speaker. Because a Gen Z is a period of which one was born. Gen Z are those who were born between 1997 and 2010, Madam Speaker. Those who are born, like Senator Medhu, between 1996, between 1981 to 1996, they are millennials, Madam Speaker. And those who are born before that, Madam Speaker, that is 1965 and 1980, Madam Speaker, that is Generation X. And if I was to go to our senior youth, Oburu Odinga, who was born, I think, in 1943, Madam Speaker, they are called the silent generation, Madam Speaker. And this is the generation that are created by American researchers. You are called at that particular, depending on what time you were born and what was happening at that particular time. Madam Speaker, the coming generation will be fire, will be more than these Gen Zs that we are saying. It's called Generation Alpha, Madam Speaker. Those who are born between 2011 to 2025. Why are they categorized like that, Madam Speaker? Is what was happening at that particular time when they were born. The Gen Z, they were born when we have social media, we have internet, they have access to information, they understand things as they happen. Madam Speaker, my daughter, who is in primary school, came to me after the finance bill was passed by the National Assembly and asked me, in school, the classmates were asking, did your dad vote yes or no? And then I asked, what did you tell them? Already she knows that senators were not passing. As she said, senators were not voting for this finance bill. So what this means It is even those kids that are in school, those now we are calling Generation Alpha or the Gen Z, Madam Speaker, they understand everything that happens, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we said we need to talk to Gen Z. And the reason why I've given that definition is because when the president is talking to Gen Z, he must make sure he's talking to Gen Z. And that's why I advise him to shy away from the X space on Twitter, Madam Speaker. And I will explain why. When you go to X space, you only hear voices. You don't see anybody. We don't know who is in there, Madam Speaker. We might be speaking to those who are always been there, Madam Speaker, and not listen to the real Gen Z. And that's why I'm advising him, kindly go to TikTok. If you want to talk to Gen Z, you will be able to see them. They'll see your face, you'll see their face, Madam Speaker. They will even tell you, this is not a Gen Z, this is a grown, that man, Madam Speaker. Because if we go to X space, HUKO matusi mingi sana, and they do not come from Gen Z, because Gen Z, they are not afraid to be seen. That's why they came to the streets in broad daylight. They want to be seen. They want to be identified. They are fighting for their people. So I asked the president and the deputy president, go to TikTok. Learn how to say, tap, tap the screen, guys. Tap, tap. I want to talk to you. I want you to see me. I want us to talk to each other, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want you to take a pen because we have to do some math. And this is the time that we as a nation, we should now start taking stock of what has been happening. What has been wrong, we say enough is enough. And that is the CDF, Madam Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when the former senator or the former member of parliament from as a constituency in Nyandarua, Mr. Karungo, came with CDF, that was the beginning of devolution. What he was trying was to devolve services to the people. So when devolution came, CDF should have died a natural death. Because that is devolution. Madam Speaker, and it has been said here, can you imagine the government gives you money to go pay government? That is bursary. It gives you money to go pay a government school. And I want us to do the math, Madam Speaker. Take a pen, Madam Speaker. Every constituency in their CDF, they have over 50 million for bursary, Madam Speaker. If you multiply 50 million times 249 constituencies, 290 constituencies, Madam Speaker, you'll get over 20 billion Kenya shillings. Every county every governor has an education bursary fund, which they put between 200 million to 300 million. If you do an average of 300 million, multiply by 47 counties, you get again over 20 billion Kenya shillings. Over 20 billion Kenya shillings. That is 40 billion or 50 or 60. If you add the GAF, the women rep, they also have bursary. The president has bursary. The governor has bursary. We will get almost 80 billion Kenya shillings. Madam Speaker, why don't we just give this money to schools and make education free? Madam Speaker.